In this GlassTrax training video, I'll be covering how to specify your stock sheet sizes within GlassTrax. Now, one thing that makes us a little bit different than maybe some of your previous software or some of our competitors is that we simplify our item IDs. Now, in the past, you may have had an item such as 3/8 clear annealed, and then you had for cut size, and then you had another ID for 3/8 clear annealed 96-130, and then you had another item ID for 3/8 clear annealed 72-130, and so on. In GlassTrax, we consolidate that. We usually like to say have one item ID because we give you the ability to specify different sizes as your stock sheet sizes on that one item ID. Let me show you how we do that. So if I were to come into my item, let's use that same 3/8 clear annealed right here. That's my code here. And I'm going to go ahead and come down to stock sheets down here at the bottom. Now, as you can see, I don't have any set up right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the N button for new, and I'm going to do 96-130. Now, keep in mind this as well. I'm putting my base as 96, my height as 130. Some people like to put that reverse. Even though you say 96 by 130, technically a lot of people look at it and say, well, I don't store it vertically like that. I store it horizontally. So just keep that in mind as you do that. It doesn't really matter to us, but it is something to keep in mind. And if I tab through, it's going to autofill with my size description. My reorder point here, I can go ahead and say, hey, when I get down to 15 pieces of this 96-130, I need to issue a purchase order to restock. You can have that appear as a pop-up for a certain specified user or a supervisor user when invoices are posted or when they log in the morning, and they can see what is needed to be purchased for the day based on what's hit the reorder point levels here. The desired level doesn't get used as much, but it does allow you to say, well, I'd like to have 100 on hand. And so it'll go ahead and show you when you're issuing the purchase order, hey, you have 15 on hand right now. Your desired level is 100. That means you probably should order about 85. So it actually just does the math for you, which most of you are very capable of handling. So that's why it's not used a ton. The reorder increment and the pieces per case are almost synonyms for each other. If you order something by pieces per case, you can say, hey, it's 30 pieces a case. And let me see here, the desired level, let's keep that 100. Let's say that we have to buy them as in 30 piece increments, or the case is 30 pieces per case. The default size here, if I say yes, default size, what it's going to do is anytime someone's putting in a sales order or a purchase order, it's going to auto-fill the base and height on that sales order or the purchase order with 96 by 130. So if you're using this item for cut size as well as your stock sheet sizes, I would probably not mark that as yes, default size. So I would either mark it as common size or no, not default size. Either way, you'll be fine. Once you're done, you hit save, and you can go ahead and add another new one. Let's do a 72-130. Again, you just tab through, and again, I'm going to put 15 pieces, and I'm going to say we'd like to have 120 of these, and I'm just going to leave my reorder increments blank there this time. And it does have to have that if I'm using my desired level. So let's go ahead and say they come in 20s. And save, and it gets added here as well. Now, the reason this works is because we keep this stored in a separate table on the back end. So we might have just one item ID, but we're able to have multiple standard sizes, up to 999 sizes per item. And the way that this really works is now when you come to pricing, in feature 2802, which I recommend turning on, you can have this set now where you've got, all right, one setting is to have the outside center inside if you do IG. That's the price for this 3/8 clear if I put it on the outside, if I put it in the center of an IG, if I put it on the inside of an IG. Here's a cut monolithic price for it, and then here's the stock sheet. The other option is to do stock sheet here, cut size here. And so that's another way you can do it. So you can specify the same item having multiple price points based on whether or not you're selling a stock sheet or what we call a cut stock sheet, where it might be one single cut that you might give a customer for free, or if it's a totally custom cut size that needs to be charged a totally different price because you're cutting it multiple times. So that's how you enter pricing for the stock sheets. And that's how you create the stock sheets in GlassTrax. It's a fairly simple process, but if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Our email is glasstraxtech@kssco.com. Thank you.